Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the K. Lowry Moore Show. I'm so honored that you are here with me this week. We are going to have a fun time tonight. Tonight is going to be the episode where we're going to take a look at some of my favorite moments right here on the K. Lowry Moore Show. So I'm not going to talk too much. I'm so excited about getting into some of the funny clips. I have everything from relationship topics, health and fitness, motivational. I mean, on the K. Lowry Moore Show, I like to cover a lot of things that we do in our lives. So I'm gonna start off with this one clip about relationships. My special guest co-host, he will actually be back here on the K. Lowry Moore Show next Wednesday, so we can cut up as we always do. But I want to take a look at one of our favorite moments right here on the K. Lowry Moore Show with my co-host Yonda. Hello and welcome to another episode of the K. Lowry Moore Show. I'm so honored that you are here with me this evening because I know you could be doing anything else, watching anything else, but you watching me. I broadcast live every Wednesday, Listen Vision Live, right here, Georgia Avenue, across from Howard University. I always have awesome guests. Today isn't any different. My my special guest co-host, author Yonda. Thank you for coming to the show again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. We always have a good time, so we're trying to just make sure that we don't get too wild and crazy today with some of our topics. But
let's do wild and crazy.
We're gonna do wild and crazy. Okay, got you. We are going to be talking about various topics, relationship topics, but we're going to be mainly talking about. Oh, you can see him on the screen a little bit.
Oh, yeah. That's real. That's real nice.
What I do is Taboo, the Taboo series.
Yes.
So before we get deep into the discussion, let them know who you are and how you came to write the Nass stories.
Okay, my name is Yonda. I write the series is called What I Do Is Taboo. It's actually a 7-book series. I still only have 5 out now. There are stories based in the DMV area, but they can be related to anywhere else. I mean, really, they start off in 1988 at Haynes Point, and it's just a story of everything that you've done from 18 until you basically decide to go with that one person.
Okay, so just kind of living your life, exploring and just enjoying. And speaking of that, how do you feel about, because there's a lot of double standards. So it's okay when, it's seemingly okay when, men go down that journey. But what about when women go through that journey where they just enjoying life, exploring and having a good time?
It's not double standard to me, really, because we talk about certain things are taboo to people. If you're happy about it, go on about your business. Because I know there are just numerous women who are just act like the same men in these books.
Right.
And I'm cool with them. Yeah, they become your best friend.
But why do you think that society frowns upon women just living their life?
It's back from barefoot and pregnant.
Okay.
I mean, really. Men went out and work, the women stayed at home. I mean, really, it's all of the nonsense, preconceptions. I mean, really, back from biblical days when men went out and work, women didn't have to work. Women working there. Y'all doing your own thing. So that's a whole different energy going on about it. That energy was never on the body back in the day. There's a whole different energy going
there
on.
were some women in the Bible that were doing their thing.
Oh, yeah. There was look, you had that conversation. There was a whole lot of women doing that thing in the Bible. But like I said, and if my mom always say, one of Diana Ross's song, calls me the boss. You're the boss of your life. Do what you need to do. Do what you want to do. Have fun with yourself.
Okay.
And every way there is, from toys to men to whatever you decide
to do. Toys to
men. Have fun with yourself.
And so, I guess I always try to figure out why is it such a double standard. And I think that a lot of laws, or not even laws, but a lot of rules or unspoken rules are in place to make some men comfortable.
But let's be honest. Who made the rules? Men.
That's my point. That's my point.
I mean, you think about from sodomy, there's still some states you get locked up for those. I mean, really, the men made these rules for them happens. I mean, really, you think about one of the biggest things. My biggest pet peeve is, it's probably my biggest pet peeve. They could have medications for all of these things we're dying from, but they sure know how to make
exactly.
Everything. There's 700 ways to make Johnson horse.
That's a good point.
And not get pregnant.
I never even thought about that.
And not get pregnant. They know how to make your Johnson or not get pregnant. There's cancer, there's AIDS, there's 700 other things.
But we got Viagra.
And the biggest stock there is Viagra. That company was going out of business until they made Viagra.
That is crazy. But This one is your first book. I
Yes,
just want to make
that's
sure.
my baby. That's my baby there.
It's just your first book tends to be your baby, the one that you just kind of have a close relationship with. And so this is the second one.
Let me tell you about the first book. The first book was for me. As you know, when you write your first book, you really don't care what nobody else think about it. It's about you. As I wrote the first book, the second book and the third book started saying, "Hey, you gonna get this out too?" I mean, really, they start to, you know, the book start talking to you. Once you read one, and then once you go on tour or do a little, and you call a couple little book signings, everybody be like, "So we're book 2 at?"
Right,
so you have to do book 2.
Right.
So the first one really was just my baby. I mean, really, I liked it. I ain't care what nobody else thought about it.
And that's
it was
funny.
mine.
And see, that's how I am too. Although I have met people that said I would never forget. I will not put his name out there. Although he did say it on the K. Lowry Moore show that if he did not get a book deal, that he would not have been an author. And I'm sorry, I thought that was the craziest thing that I had ever heard in all my days.
I agree with
because my thing is this: why have to be validated? That is something that I posted today. Of course, a lot of people, we was talking about a relationship topic, and it kind of took on that connotation. But there are people who, if they're not validated by certain things, they won't do it. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not judging it, but I have my opinion, just the way you all have your opinion. But to say that I wouldn't be an author unless I had got a book deal, I mean,
that's crazy. You know what? Because you think of the greatest art. I mean, I'm a Frankie Belly fan. Frankie has never won any awards. He's had, I think, 15 gold albums, but he's the most requested live performer there is. He's bigger than the Rolling Stone. Validation comes from the people. I mean, really, but really, if I never get an award for my books,
and that's
I'm still gonna write.
And that's a lot of people. A lot of artists feel that way. They feel like certain awards, like Grammys, because I remember, I watch Unsung a lot. I talk about Unsung a lot, and Gerald Levert was one of them. One of the best voices in the industry.
Yes. They say he worked harder than everybody, too.
But died miserable because when you watch his story, that was one thing that he never achieved, that he always wanted to achieve.
Did you hear Daddy talk about him? He said while they was on tour, Gerald was in the back of the bus. After they finished working the concert hall, he been in the back performing, trying to get his slide right and everything. He working. Never got what's that.
And that's why I think it's very important to find that validation from within. It is nothing to say that, we don't want anybody to say you look nice or things like that, but that shouldn't make or break your day.
It shouldn't.
It should not make or break your day if someone like or dislike something that you do, or, your books, or how you change your hair or anything. But there are some people who feel like, unless I get this validation from, the only thing I need validated is my time card at work right now. Because if you don't validate my time card, then I might not get paid. So
and get out my face,
that's the validation I need.
That's all it.
But everything else to me is a bonus.
It is. There's a book out.
Okay, you guys. So that is one of my favorite episodes with Yon. He will actually be here live again on the K. Lowry Moore show next Wednesday. So make sure you tune in with us and just join in a conversation. We're going to keep it hot, keep it steamy, and just have a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in next week so you can catch that episode. So the next clip that I want to show is another one of my favorite moments. I had a conversation with an author, Dr. Deborah Johnson, and she has a book out from breakup to breakthrough. And it's steps for women on how to not kill him when you break up. So in this clip, we just talk about different strategies, how to, to leave a relationship with your dignity, and just the things you can do to just, make sure you recover from that heartbreak before you move on to the next person. So once again, this is the episode with Dr. Deborah Johnson with her book From Breakup to Breakthrough. Ships. Yeah. And fellas, I can't really speak for you all because we don't know how you all feel about that. But as women, we just seem to, and like I said, not 100%, can't speak for every woman.
Yes.
But most of the time, women give so much.
Yeah, we do. And we sometimes expect so little in return. And so what I want, to share with women is that you deserve to be happy. And just the process that I went through in coming up with the material, because it would just come. I would be in my office and I said, I'm going to take a time out right now, because I was working in a counseling center where you have like 30 people in a day. And I just started putting down my thoughts. I guess it was almost like a journal. And the next thing I knew, it just kept going. It kept going, and more topics came to mind. And that's why I always say that God made me write this book.
Right. Because he knew that someone needed it.
It was the way it came together.
It's someone always out there waiting for what you have to share. And that's what I firmly believe, because sometimes I feel like our gifts go unnoticed.
Yes.
But there's someone that need this even like right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in church. I feel like I'm, preaching tonight. But it's somebody that needs to hear this like right now. It's actually, I need to hear this right now.
Sure.
Because you do not have to be in a marriage to go through this. You don't even have to be in a relationship. You could just really like someone and it just not turn out the way you want it.
That's right. Well, they're not treating you the way you want to be treated. And we have to keep thinking, well, what do I deserve? Because I deserve better. And so it's just really important, I think, for women who, it's whether you're just breaking up, whether you're stuck somewhere and you can't get through the breakup because you want to murder him, and please don't do that, or you want to hit him with a brick, or you want to keep calling speed dial and he knows it's you.
And please don't harass the new girlfriend.
I forgot that one. Harassing the new girlfriend. Yes, or come to his house and fall all out on the floor begging him to come back with you.
And I don't mean to laugh, because I'm sure people.
People have done that.
I have not said I've done any of that, but I've had my share of evil thoughts, I'm going to say.
Yeah, and when you're feeling that, you must pick up the book. Do not go any further. You want to come out of the breakup with your dignity intact and your pride intact. Nobody is worth you belittling yourself to that extent.
That's right.
But if you have done it in the past, it's okay. Just stop now, okay?
Right.
Let's not do it in the future. Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to show one of your promo videos, and that will give them a little insight to more about your book and how it's divided, and just even more reason why you should go to Amazon and purchase it. Because trust me, I have mine on my I downloaded a copy because I didn't have a
I brought you another
oh
copy.
thank you.
That's yours.
Thank you. But I downloaded it on Kindle because I wanted to, of course I wanted to prepare for the show, but I just wanted to see for myself, because people think that just because I don't show my emotions or how I feel just on my sleeve, that that I don't hurt as well. But like you said, I have a little bit of dignity, so it may hurt, but I'm gonna pick up the pieces and I'm gonna keep moving. But sometimes it's not as easy as other times. So we're gonna show the promo video, and then we'll come back and we'll get into the discussion. Okay.
Let me ask you 2 questions. Have you ever gone through a really painful breakup? Or do you know someone else who has gone through a breakup or is going through a breakup? What would you say if I told you that I could show you some tips and strategies and a few of my secrets that would help you get through that breakup in a way that you never imagined? And I'm talking about a good way. Sound interesting? My name is Dr. Deborah Johnson. For 25 years, I have worked with women from all over the world. And the one thing that I noticed they had in common was heartache and heartbreak. So what I wanted to do was to share with you in my new book, From Breakup to Breakthrough, A Woman's Guide to Recovery and Triumph, how you can get through the breakup to breakthrough process and come out a winner. Now, the book is broken down into 3 parts. The first part is the breakup. And that talks about those feelings that you have, the anger, betrayal, when you want to maybe knock out his window with a brick, but please don't do it. And it talks about the feelings that you have because you're shocked and you don't believe that this has happened to you. But I start in that chapter giving you some strategies for how to get through your most vulnerable period with your dignity intact. The second part of the book deals with the recovery period. And we don't want to get stuck in the breakup such that we never get to the recovery period. So there are going to be some real good strategies and secrets that I learned in my last breakup that can help you to recover. Remember, his life has gone on, yours should too. And the third part of the book is titled, Take Time to Know. You have to think about, what did you expect? Or did you take time to get to know that person? What are the things that you actually need in a relationship? Who were you in the relationship? It talks about all of those, but it brings you to triumph at the end. My readers tell me that they really appreciate the book because they had not even thought about a lot of those things that I share. They also seem to enjoy the comfort in which they can read the book. It can be in their homes, it can be in their bedrooms, it could be an ebook, so it's very convenient for you. But what they tell me most is that it really changed their lives, and I think it can change your life too. I want us to gather in workshops or seminars or retreats, and I want us to be able to figure out how we're going to get our self-worth back. Sometimes when you break up, your self-esteem is a little bit low. We don't have to do that. Let's get together and talk about. And I don't believe in just talking. We're going to have strategies because you are about to come to the next joyful phase of your life. We can do this together. We can do it. I'm available for workshops, conferences, church groups, where we can all just relax and we can talk about what we really feel. Because believe it or not, you're not alone.
Okay, guys. I hope you are able to go to, well, not if you're able, but I hope you go to WLVS YouTube channel so you can watch the full episode of all of these clips that I'm showing you. Trust me, I have 3 years worth of shows out there, and tonight I'm just highlighting some of my favorite moments on the Kay Lowry Moore Show. So with that clip, I am going to bring back Dr. Deborah Johnson because I think that conversation it's an ongoing conversation to heal ourselves and to heal relationships so we can have just the love that we desire, because I definitely believe that it exists. So I'm definitely going to bring Dr. Johnson back on the show so we can continue that conversation. So in this next clip, this is a very important topic because I don't think we talk enough about it in the Black community when you're dealing with addictions and mental illness. So that is something that we tend to sweep under the rug. We tend to just say, the person is crazy. But there are a lot of people out here that have mental illnesses that that just not go diagnosed. So we need to start healing ourselves before we even start talking about relationships. Sometimes we jump into these relationships trying to find healing when we need to do the work on ourselves first. So I want to show this episode M.R. Johnson, her book, Memoirs of an Addict, Fact or Fiction. So just really pay a close attention to this one because it's a very important topic that we need to just really start tackling in our community. This novel. So just let the viewers know just how you came to write Memoirs of an Addict, Fact or Fiction, and just let them know a little bit about, how you came to, tell your personal story.
Well, first, just like many people, you never want to admit that you have an addiction. That was very hard for me.
I was like, oh, this is good.
It took my son, my oldest son, who I love. I love all 3 of my children. I have 3 adult children. And when my mom and dad died, I more so lost my mind.
Okay.
They were so young. I was 39 when my dad passed, and he was 57, and my mom, she was 55, and they died a year apart from each other. And as with death, family, money, things change. And a lot of times when you think you have support and friendship, you learn from death, a lot of things change.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate. That should be a time where you're coming together.
Yes.
So
emotionally. So for me, my son said, Mom, look, go get some help. He saw a change in me. And I went into the psychiatric inpatient ward. What happened with that, I went several times before they actually came to the right diagnosis that I was suffering from depression.
Okay.
And the stigma is if you use drugs, all you are is a drug addict. And that's not true.
Okay.
And when they didn't give me the right help for the depression, And when the right doctor came along and gave me the diagnosis for co-occurring disorder, my life went like, wow. I've been telling people all the time I've been depressed. It's not about the drugs, and now I have the right diagnosis. I was in the rooms with people who were doctors, and life just showed up. Psychiatrists, therapists. You'd be amazed who uses drugs.
I'm gonna start. Yeah, trust me. I understand. So what is you said co-occurring?
Co-occurring disorders.
Explain that term for people, for someone who may be unfamiliar with that.
Co-occurring disorders is when a person has two or more disorders at the same time, present at the same time. Let's say a person has anxiety.
Okay.
And
radio show cards, maybe.
they use drugs and alcohol as a means to cope with the anxiety.
Gotcha.
So with those two disorders, for me, mine was depression and addiction. Together, they're co-occurring disorders.
Okay, so what? So you basically your parents' death triggered that?
No, I was suffering from depression as young as 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
I used to hear voices when I was a little girl, and my mom would tell me, she was like, she would tell my father, hey, look, your daughter has a mental problem. And I put that in the book, Memoirs of an Addict, about my mom and dad. I loved them so much. And my mom was real. And she was like, look, your daughter has a mental problem. You need to go get her some help. So my dad was like, no, we're not going to get her no help, because he did not want me to be stigmatized at such a young age. And what he did was he bought me a doll, and her name was Susie, and she was a life-size doll, and she was my best friend. And that's how I was able to deal with the voices.
She would get paranoid.
It was not until I met
and hide him.
someone in my neighborhood, and this was in Southwest Washington, D.C.,
Just
and
hide
he
the
introduced me
baby,
to marijuana.
And they're like, "Where's
Okay, and did
where's-
it take the voices
where's the
away?
child?
How old were you?
Girl, I was 8, 9,
He
10.
said because
Really?
I think his
Oh.
father. It's a crazy
And that's what I
think
want
his
people to
father-
understand. Children do use drugs
ended up
if
being a
they are
married man.
around the right
So
people.
That trauma, because sometimes.
And I happen to
something
been one to
trigger
have always had older
was already lying
people
dormant.
around me as
Say
friends.
that after that,
And
she
he was an
just-
older guy. He was a thug in the neighborhood, and he saw
I was
something
dating,
in
yeah,
me.
his mother.
So he kind of like
His
took me under
mother.
his wing,
So he
where
said when he was young,
I wouldn't be so
he had to be
depressed.
put in
And
foster care.
he introduced me
And
to
he,
the
you know,
marijuana,
so
and
for
I was
him,
smoking
maybe
marijuana, and the voices
bring
would
him on the
stop.
show. For him
And,
to open up about what that was like,
it
growing
helped
up
with
in
the
foster
depression.
care,
So
feeling
was it
rejected.
depression
And so
because
he
you
was,
heard
I couldn't figure out
voices,
why
or
he
did
was so
something else
needy,
trigger?
clingy.
You know,
And it
I was
was
with a friend of
driving me
mine
crazy.
recently, and
so,
an incident just
we talked
that kind
after we
of
broke
made me
up. Because we were young. He was like
reevaluate
25
why I started
or
using
younger.
the
And I was
marijuana
30.
and why I was
And when
depressed
he
at
was
such a
telling me
young
his-
age.
You know, but I was like,
I wasn't like.
so then he started.
And when I
Well,
realized
he
this the other
said
day
it,
that
but I didn't know it
people
was
didn't
affecting
like
him.
me,
Okay, so why
You know,
did
he just said, "But my
how did you
mother
know that
is,
they didn't like you?
I
He
didn't
just said in
know.
a mental ward, but he said my
You
mother
know,
is
it's
in a
like a glass was
institution
placed in front of
And I
me.
just-
I'm
I
thinking
feel like I don't like
everybody
to
is
ask
on the
questions
same
and people are
accord.
ready
You
to
didn't
go
have
into
any
details.
I had friends, I
They
had
were,
family,
I said, "Okay, how is
siblings.
she?" And
But,
you know, he was saying she's okay. You know, as long as she
growing
takes her
up,
medication, and we just left it.
I
there.
have always
'Cause,
been
you know,
one.
It's kind of touchy.
You
know,
might
just
not
meet
like
somebody and
me,
you're
but
like,
it didn't
"Ooh,
matter
what
to
if
me
what
because
if
I
it's
didn't have to be
hereditary?"
your friend.
You know,
So I didn't pay attention to
but
it.
we've been friends a long
Gotcha.
time.
So
So
all
when
of
he
that
finally
energy
told
that
me,
other
like, I
people
knew
was
she
putting
was
on me
schizophrenic
as
but
a
I didn't know
child from not
how
liking me
it has affected
was
him and his
transferring into me
relationships.
being depressed.
Okay.
And
The
I did
need
not
for
realize
just
this until the
belonging.
other
He said
day.
because he didn't want his
Why
friends to
I
know
suffered with the
that
depression.
his
My
foster
home life, I
mom
loved my
wasn't his
mother, my mother and
So
father, I
he
had
said one
sister
of his
and
best
brother.
friends, he said
And
he
my
never-
daddy, I was
never
mama
talked
and
about it.
daddy's
He
girl.
said
I was the
when they
middle
graduated
psycho
high school,
child
he said,
who
you
always
know,
was
that
crying
whole-
anyway,
He said
you know,
his
not
friend was
knowing
like,
where I
"Man, we
fit
knew."
in because I was
He
the
said,
middle
"But, you know, we
child.
wasn't gonna say
Lord, those
anything.
middle
You know,
children, I'm just
kids
gonna
are
leave
mean.
it there. I'm not a middle child, but
And the middle children do
My
have
mother
different
died when I
issues
was
than
little.
the
People
oldest
used
and
to
the
say,
youngest.
"That's why your
So
mother
what I
died,
did for
you don't
my
have no
middle
mom."
child,
You know,
I told
kids are
him he
horrible.
was the love
I ain't gonna
child.
say I ain't-
So
wasn't
he would
horrible
have a place
myself,
to
but-
fit in.
okay, and that's important.
I think it's important for people, especially now with this new generation of social and emotional lifelessness,
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
need to have
No, they
some
didn't.
type
Because
of
you- far as-
self-esteem. And I was very
Who does
confident
that?
as a
I
child.
guess them,
Well,
but-
maybe I wasn't. I was 99 pounds back then too. but in a
that's-
different way.
Right. And,
Yeah,
you
but
know, it's
people
funny
do that.
because
Like
I'm
now,
actually
my sister one
hearing
time
some
sent me a text
similarities,
message that someone
in stories.
had passed.
And, you know,
And
I lost my
called her.
mother
I said,
when I was 10
that wasn't a close
years old.
person. I said, don't ever
And
text me
that was tough.
about a close
Yes, it
family
is.
member.
It's
That
just-
was tough.
Like,
I mean,
that
I
is
was
so
a child. I didn't even know.
insensitive.
I was a baby. I didn't
Oh,
even know
by the
what,
way,
like
Grandma
you
just
said,
said,
you were
don't
8
do
years
that.
old when you were suffering with you with, you know, your situation.
Yes.
Or
And
if you find
I
out,
remember,
like, this is
you know,
why
my situation. I was
really
withdrawn.
turned off by Facebook.
Like you said, I could be your friend or I
don't
could not
promote like I should, but I need
be
to
your
know I need to
friend.
get on that
And I
promote
think
the
that
show.
that was a way for
Because
me
people
to
will post
deal with
stuff,
the void if
you
you
just hear
decide
about it for
not
the
to
first
be
time.
my friend.
Right.
Then it doesn't matter anyway. And so, because, you know, when you have that person in your life, you know, and they're taken away from
Yes.
you, that is a pain that you just cannot, you can't, and it happens at different ages, but unfortunately, when you're a child,
You didn't even
you don't
know.
even know what self-esteem means.
No, you don't. And I think it's very important
Yeah, and I think sometimes
that we
just to find out if a
educate
person
our
knew-
youth
how
on
many
this
minutes?
as young as 8 years old. And that was the
Yeah,
purpose of me
the
writing the
first person-
second
the
book.
first video
I don't want to go
showed
ahead of it, but self-esteem
wife
right
died.
now,
She's
self-esteem,
45 years old.
self-love,
That's how I am.
self-respect.
And see, and that is one of
His
the things
friend did
that,
inbox me, but he didn't say
one of the reasons
what
why I
happened.
wanna
He
use this
said
platform
he just,
is to
of course, you
talk
still kind
about
of know because he didn't have the number. He
self-love
said
and
just
yes.
how we
about
can
right,
heal
his
the
wife.
community. We talk so
And
much about
as soon as somebody asks
healing
you that,
relationships,
but you be
until
hoping
we
they
heal
say, "Oh, they sick and they're in the
individually,
hospital." But
those relationships
like,
are going to
she
keep
got sick on the
destructing,
Tuesday
you know,
and
keep
Yes.
destructing
and died
because
that Friday.
we haven't done the work with ourselves.
That's
So
just
what
how
we do. We
quick
go
it
run
can-
to a person to
Yes.
fix that piece we're missing. And we
Life
can't
show-
do
it
that.
shows-
That
And you
person
can't. It
fix
doesn't
My mother
work.
died when I
It
was outside
doesn't.
playing.
And,
you
like,
know,
you
like
go
you say, it's
outside
not
to play
until
and
you
that's
look at
it.
you look back and you
Like,
say,
Wow.
that's why my life spiraled out of control. And that's
no
why I didn't
idea.
care.
So,
And
yeah,
that's why I
life
went
is
on a
rough, but
dating
you gotta
spree.
get-
At one point,
get a control
because, you know,
over
for
certain
me,
things,
it
or
was
you'll
easier
just
to just keep it
self-destruct.
moving. That mean I wouldn't get close to you, so I won't feel that void if you decided not to be there.
Because I could be
Right.
So
back
that
crazy
was,
right now.
like you said, with the addiction, that was, you know, what
Like
my
some-
situation was. It was like, I enjoy
You
meeting
see me
people,
on
but
Facebook. I'm okay.
as soon as it got to the point where if it looked
still
like it
got
was
my
getting
job, so
serious,
I'm okay.
You're
oh,
back
I was
on.
out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until I wrote my first novel,
Safe.
that I wrote about love after tragedy, that I realized those were. Okay, you guys. So that was the episode with author M.R. Johnston. Her book Memoirs of an Addict, Fact or Fiction. So like I said earlier, we need to start tackling those tough conversations about mental disorders or just any type of illness. A lot of times people don't talk about family illnesses, things that may be hereditary, and you just don't know how to even check some of them answers, you know, when you go to the doctor, because people just don't want to talk about the things that go on. You know, back in the day, they used to sweep everything under the rug. If that wasn't your father, or, you know, somebody is messing around, I mean, they really didn't talk about the things that I think we should know. So I know it's hard to talk about, it's hard to open up, it's hard to share your feelings, but you need to let somebody know, especially if you're experiencing any of the things that was mentioned in the video about just feeling anxious, because people don't realize that anxiety is something that can cause you to be on medication as well. So just make sure you just do wellness checks on yourself and your friends. If you haven't heard from somebody in a while, just don't assume they're busy. They may be going through something and don't know how to reach out to you. You know, we don't tend to think about that. Our first thought is, well, I haven't heard from so-and-so. You don't know what that person may be struggling with. So sometimes you just got to reach out to that person and just say, hey, how are you doing? So, you know, and with that, you know, I'm going to go into my next topic, which is about health and fitness. So one of my favorite episodes, I had a fitness instructor here, and he was teaching us some tips, some things that I didn't know. So this is Reggie Hot Sauce Thornton, and he is going to share a couple of tips about just what we can do to just keep ourselves healthy, keep ourselves in check. So here's hot sauce.
Okay.
But what else? What other things that you want people to know, whether it's fitness, health, nutrition? Because I know you do a lot of nutritional tips as well. because a lot, people are just not putting the right things into the body. I'm not sure. I got to see which video tip. As a matter of fact, let's get into one of the tips, because I don't want to start talking about one if it's the one that that I have here, and then we'll talk about some other ones. That's one of the video the tips.
Okay.
When I was going through some of my episodes, I was like, sometimes when
I
you
want to
right
start a
here,
fitness program. I'm going to start walking.
feels
I'm going to get it in.
more
I'm
awkward
going to stop
than
putting it off, and I'm going to
actually
start
looks when you
walking.
watch it.
One of the things that you
know.
want to consider is your walk surface. There are
don't.
two surfaces that you need to be
Sometimes,
walking on in order to keep
I
your
look at
joints
the
healthy.
episodes and I
One,
can
you
tell
need
that
to
I
see
wasn't
you be
really
on
feeling
asphalt,
well.
as
And I
I'm
said,
standing
well, I
on
might
right
not shoulda
now,
went
or
that
on
day,
a
'cause
grass
I
and
can
dirt
tell that I was
You want to
forcing.
try
That's why I
to
didn't come
avoid as
yesterday.
much
last week I
concrete
had a
as possible
rough day.
when you're walking,
And
because it's
not
hard on
that,
your
you know,
joints.
just trying. Our system
Asphalt
had crashed,
gives,
so we trying
dirt
to do
and
stuff
grass
manually.
gives.
So,
But
I mean,
concrete
when I say
doesn't
beat
give,
down,
and it's
and I'm
almost
still
like
dealing
you're
with
taking a
that.
hammer
And
and
so
hitting yourself.
that's
in
why
your
the day got
knees
away
and your
from me,
hips
but I'm
and
glad
your
that,
lower
you know,
back.
they
So
say,
you
look at
want to
God,
make
he worked
sure
it
that
out
you're
anyway.
walking
So
on the
thanks again.
surface that
But
gives.
it's rough
Even
right
if it's
now.
wintertime, it
It's been
still
rough like that
gives.
since the New
You want to
Year's
make sure,
system.
again, asphalt, grass, or dirt.
I mean, the system didn't
If you're in the
crash.
DC
What
metropolitan
happened
area,
is
the mall
system
is a
that I
great
use at
surface to
work is
walk
actually a
on. But you want to
military
avoid as much cement. Now, I
system.
know
I told
sometimes
you
you
about
may
the
have
gear.
sidewalks
So for
where
some
you
reason,
are, but that's
if
fine.
you are a
You
civilian
just want to mix
agency,
it up.
we can't access
Where
it.
there's
So I think they
grass,
had a
hit the
breach
grass.
system.
And
I think
come
they
back to
had
the
a
concrete,
breach and had
then
to
hit the
kinda
grass.
shut off
Or walk along the side of the
outside
curb,
contact
along
until
the
they
side of the
clean up the
curb
breach.
in the street, but away from traffic, of course.
I really think
but again,
I
the
think
best
that's what
surfaces, asphalt, grass, or dirt. Talk to you soon.
So I have to go like to a different agency to
And
get
that's
my work done
actually
tomorrow
an
morning.
excellent tip, because
Right,
I never knew that.
But anyway, thank you for my job. Not gonna complain.
As much as possible. And ladies, when he mentioned the mall,
Good, yes.
he's not talking about like
Good
Pentagon
government
City.
there.
That I mean,
That's
that's
what
what
my
my
mind
mind
went.
went.
I saw him
walk
walk
the
the
mall,
mall,
but
but
my
then I
job,
said,
if
you know
they
what, he's
don't
probably
validate
talking
it,
about.
you might not
about
get your
the-
check on
the
time.
Smithsonian, the monuments, and everything. So,
So,
yeah, that was a great.
I know
Because
that was
I
about to
really
be
did
over.
not.
Okay.
Was not aware that the concrete is like that. And it kind of makes sense though when you really think about it. So,
Yeah.
you too.
Impact
Thank you.
is very important when you're exercising, and minimizing the impact as much as possible. And one of the ways you can minimize impact is on surfaces.
I can't say.
People get excited.
I can't
They
say
wanna get in shape. They get
Oh,
out, so
HUD.
you
I
just
was for
walk.
HUD.
You just walk, and you don't
Department
know.
of Housing
you
or
don't
Urban
know,
Development.
you know,
I
maybe
don't
walk
talk
on the
about it because
side,
people like to talk about Ben
by the
Carson,
curb,
and I don't
walk in
feel
the
like
street, or walk on the side of the curb. That's gonna
I
make a
don't
big
feel like
difference in
going there.
the
That's the
concrete.
Secretary of
Same
HUD.
thing,
I just
job.
don't want
It's the
anybody
same
to
way.
take anything
And it's an old
back.
adage from track. We always had to run
You know what I
on
mean?
grass
Because
or run on
integrity-wise
asphalt.
and the type of
If
position
Coach
I
caught you
have,
running on
yeah, they would question
cement,
your
there
integrity
was
on the
consequences.
agency if you're
And, well,
bad
in high
mouthing
school, see, my father was
So
the,
it's just you just
track
never
coach.
know. Right. People mad
I
at you. They
caught
don't
it
want you to
twice.
succeed.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
you got home. You
already
already
got in
about us.
trouble,
You know. And it just
But yeah,
doesn't
now
look-
I mean, it,
But
it
it's
actually
no-
makes sense. But those
you
are the
know.
things that we don't think about, and that's why in various
But
areas
I am
of our lives
a
we should be
agency
seeking
contact, so
professionals
I try
before
to
we start
have
our
a little bit of
do it yourself. Oh,
integrity.
speaking of do it yourself, people that do that their hair at
26
home,
years is a
please
long
stop.
time to get
Let you
escorted
know
out
what
the
you really
building.
doing. Because we think we know.
Like,
we trying
man,
to
save
come
money.
with
I
us.
could
I could do this myself. I can color my hair myself.
Oh, no, you gotta tell
go
me in the
to-
next video.
Go to a stylist.
we got, like-
go to a
okay, yeah, we
nutritionist.
just-
Go
yeah.
to a
Ooh,
fitness
you move my
expert.
wine
You
out.
know, that we
Yeah,
got to
wow,
start
okay,
seeking
yeah.
professional guidance because that would save you so much money from just wasting money with buying things that's not working for you.
That's exactly right. I mean, we go to the dentist. I mean, you don't
Unless
have
you
a
pull
pain
your
in
own teeth.
Right, you don't pay him out. I ain't going. I'm gonna save some money. Let me go get my pliers.
right.
I save me some money. I shucks. I got it.
Okay, I am back. So we're going to make sure that we keep that theme going. I do have another clip that I want to show from Balanced Body. Well, actually the owner of Balanced Body Massage Group. She's one of my show sponsors. I definitely always appreciate her looking out for me. So we're going to show, you have the flyer for the Balanced Body Massage Group, or we can show it a little later. We have it circulating in the beginning of the show, but I just want to make sure you guys do support Balanced Body Massage Group in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. She is a phenomenal massage therapist. And when we did a show about the essential oils, things that you can use to kind of lift your mood. And we did some we just did a lot of. Well, actually, I'm gonna let you watch the clip so you can just see, what essential oils are, how to use them, and just how we just did that particular event. So. Therapy going in here. So how do you introduce the oils? Because at first I was going to get the one with Sam. Digest them or?
So majority of the oils can be digested. These oils have gone through a rigorous third-party process for purity, potency, and safety. So yes, the majority of the oils can be taken in internally. Yeah. And as long as there's supplement facts on the oils, they can be ingested.
It could be their downsizing.
And like I say, all of these oils are CPTG standard, meaning certified pure therapeutic grade. So my morning regimen for energy and revitalization.
It was something they was restructuring. They were doing something.
These are my favorite go-to that's on the nightstand in the morning.
Right.
So I have the wild orange first, and typically it's always one drop.
Aligning to put the right people in the positions that they want in those positions, pretty much. Yeah. We're going to let you guys sample some oils. She probably is collecting her check.
You will smell them from all over there. They're amazing.
Rubbing the oil. There are some people that can retire. My supervisor was retired. And she told us that she had put a lot of money in her thrift saving, her 401k. So she's actually going to get a bigger check retired than she did when she was working. That's how you're supposed to retire. You're supposed to retire with less than what you
wild orange is used for energy, but you got to make sure you do the right. I put it in my oatmeal and my water for a burst of flavor, my plain yogurt, since I can't have the flavored yogurt per my trainer. So this is my first go-to oil in the morning, and the second oil that I use is the peppermint oil.
And you use them together?
I do. This one drop of peppermint is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea.
That's how potent it is.
So you can literally taste these oils as you're taking in this peppermint.
I should pull out my oils now.
So these are my two oils that I start with. I have a life of oil, starting there through midday with my Slim and Sassy oil, ending the day with lavender. So I have a regimen that I use for a variety of health priorities.
Okay. And if you are coming to, I'm going to do our fun girls' night out event on Friday. Oh no, I don't have it. I'm good now. The last one you said like 10 minutes. That registration list. 9 minutes. You will be able to. Oh yeah, I'm good. Smell, sample these. And, once you get to the party, and that way we can just let you know that these are the things that we should be doing. You should be putting more into our bodies. The natural, more of the natural, not the ones from Walmart. Tell them why we shouldn't be using the essential oils from, what you say, the Walmart, the gas station.
Yeah, we don't want to get the oils from Walmart and the gas station. Reason being is because the oil industry is unregulated. So it'll say 100% essential, but 100% essential of what? How much is pure, how much is added in, and that kind of thing. So
she bought,
doTERRA has its own quality assurance.
In a book club.
These oils
and
go
I did a
rigorous third-party processing for purity and potency.
In like 2007
or
8.
So that sets us apart.
And we just
being
been
in the massage therapy field, we know what are the best of the best, and this is it here.
Okay. And so you said that throughout the day, you just do different things. Is it? And sometimes a sponsor may just be a free massage. Such a thing as just doing too much. Do we need to be careful with the amounts that we use? That way I ain't got to pay that $90.
You want to stick to a regimen of pretty much one $90. Less is more. Is the saying of it. I'm using,
Yeah, we do like bartering.
6 to 7 oils.
She helps me out. If I need to do an event at her shop, she'll let me host an event at her shop.
These oils are pretty safe. They can be used on the elderlies, the baby. So you just have to dilute it accordingly with our with some type of carrier oil. So that would be my answer to that.
Okay. So, you guys. And speaking of oils, I have mine here. Sometimes you just need a boost of energy, and like she said, I have my peppermint, and we're gonna light up the studio. Look, can you smell it over there? It smells so wonderfully. And I have my wild orange, and actually my wild orange is empty, so I have to make sure I refill this bottle when I get home. But if you're not familiar with the essential oils, one of the brands that you can look up is the doTERRA brand. I actually have a business with them. I'm one of those called serial entrepreneurs, and I just keep starting these ventures because I like the product so much. But 2018, I promise I won't do that. My friends keep saying don't start anything else, but it's okay. I like some of the products, so I feel like if I'm a buy the products, I might as well make money while I'm, supporting the company. I might as well make some money as well. So that's just how I look at things. It's kind of like owning stock, to me. If you're going to, shop at certain places, then you can look into owning stock in that company. Those are the things we just need to start thinking about. But we'll do some financial tips on the show a little bit later, but I do wanted to mention that the company is doTERRA, so you can go to my website, which is I think Lifestyle Refresh with K Lowery, something like, and I'm not saying something like that because I kind of just threw that in there. That wasn't part of what I planned to talk about, but that's all right. But we are going to get into our final, I'm not going to say my final favorite moment, because I had so many favorite moments on whether it was the K Lowery Moore show or when I was doing Conversations and Confessions, that I could only choose what I can do in an hour. So I just picked some of the ones that I had the opportunity to watch the whole show. And, hopefully soon I'll be repackaging all of my shows from Conversations and Confessions and the K Lowery Moore show and putting them on iTunes, and also doing the best of K Lowery Moore show and putting them in DVDs, because I actually had some guests on the shows that really have some valuable information, and I want to be able to share that information, with you guys, whether it's a podcast or something like an iTunes, something you can download so you can listen, because sometimes you may not be able to watch these shows on YouTube, so you'll be able to have access to them if they're on iTunes or another source where you can download and just listen to them in your car or at home or just at work, wherever. But I want to make sure that these shows are available to you in more than one format. So anyway, we're going to get into one of the last clips that I'm going to show for this evening. It was actually one of my shows that I had with another host of one of the shows here, Alyssa Vision, the Nice and Naughty Hour, Naughty and Nice. I think it's a Naughty and Nice, Nice and Naughty. Liz, the Naughty Scribe, she was the co-host on one of my shows, and we were talking about, just relationship topics and how to make sure you can keep your relationships hot and steamy. So this is the final moment for the evening, one of my favorite moments. So I'll just see you back in a few minutes. You can do to have fun. Maybe if more couples have more fun, you'll keep the married men out the clubs. Y'all know how I feel about going out as a single lady, and there's more married men in the clubs than it is single men.
Absolutely.
Single men, I don't know what they doing.
They're hanging out with their boys at the sports club, playing video games and some more shit.
So we wanted to have a conversation. First, I want to say happy birthday.
Yay.
This is the Naughty Scribe's birthday. And this is actually my 3-year anniversary here at Listen. Woo! So I started the show August the 27th of 2014, and it was such an awkward day because I wasn't prepared. I just jumped in. I'm like, I can do this. I can talk, and I'm like, oh my God!
And look at her
the world is looking at me. So 3 years later, I'm not gonna say that I don't have days where I get butterflies or things like that, but I am just so excited that I have just lasted this long, because how many times do people start stuff that they just simply don't finish?
We had that conversation.
They'll try something and they didn't have a good day or a good week, and then they just don't want to do it anymore.
Or self-sabotage. You start something new, always starting something new, but you never finish what you start.
Exactly. So, tonight we are here. We are showcasing our businesses. We both are in similar businesses. We sell adult products. I brand myself as an intimacy enhancement consultant, because that's what I do. I want to just let people know that there are ways to get more comfortable, especially with women. Just become more comfortable with your body, learn your body.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't be hearing that women are not having orgasms until they're 30. We should not even have that conversation. But I do know that there are some women who they struggle with that, and You know, we're not going to even talk about, you know, your erectile dysfunction.
But you know what's so unfair about that is that you're so right. There are a lot of women, you know, I'm a big girl. Hey, I'll say it. I'm 51 today. But I have met women who are my age and older who have said that same thing. And I'm like, wow, really? But guys, y'all seem to figure that mess out at 2 and 3 years old. First time you take a really good pee that it gets hard in the diaper and you're like, oh. And you
that's
get
what, that's what they do.
Yeah, you get that little grin on your face. It's like, yeah, mommy knows, boo-boo. Let's wait a while on that.
Yeah, and it's I think we're taught young from society that for women it's some type of taboo.
Shame.
Especially if you start talking about you know, self-pleasure, that's, you know, especially with the Christians, you know. I was trying to debate if I was going to call, you know, say Christians or just religion.
We're going to call some stuff out.
And part of me, because right now I'm still just trying to get this court situated. But, you know, we were having a conversation while we were setting up about, you know, the products being appropriate. Yeah. So how do you...
Clearly it wasn't me.
It wasn't, no. But, you know, we have people that are, you know, you got people who are really religious and... Which is fine, but like you said, hypocritical, because we know that there are some people in the clergy or in religion who do some horrible things to people and children.
Okay, yes.
You know, you got priests who have molested boys.
Catholic Church, we ain't calling no names though.
And so, right, that's what I said, the priest. And so it just frustrates me, because whenever you start talking about enhancing a relationship, they see products that's lickable and edible and the whips and stuff like that. And
oh my God, you mean things that will make you have fun?
And it's like, shame. You know, that's it can lead to other things. It's supposed to lead to sex. I mean, these are intimacy enhancement products.
Could you repeat that?
Right.
Maybe I had a little wax in my ear.
To sex.
Oh, okay.
And so there are people who have, you know, told me, you know, they're married and they're like, oh, well, we haven't had sex in 3 months. And I'm like, well, you might not have had sex in 3 months, but he's doing something. So in some cases, I won't say in 100% of the cases, but I just don't understand why this topic is still so taboo in society.
For me, I see it 2 ways. I see it as one that if you can, especially for women, because you notice that there's not that same taboo for men.
Exactly.
And I think it's because of, and you see it with the comb over in chief. Whenever a woman is empowered in some part of her life, that means that her choices are her own and they're not made for her. I can decide if I choose you as a lover or not. If you're not doing what makes me happy, I don't have to suck it up and go, oh, well, that's how it is. You're getting yours off. No, I'm entitled to feel pleasure. And one of the things that I have found that can scare even some so-called macho men is if a woman knows her body better than you do. Because some men, let's face it, they get that right stroke on and they've done it with 1 or 2 women and it really blows their mind. He think he done found the secret sauce and that's all he's ever got to do. Then he meets me or you and we're like, that don't work for me. That's like, oh, well, there must be something wrong with you. No, it's not that there's something wrong with me. It's that I know me and I know what makes me happy. So 1 is part of empowerment. And 2, there really does seem to be a historical taboo about a woman's sexuality. They even have an Indian goddess whose whole power is centered in her vagina and she eats you up. Literally. There is an Indian goddess, and she is depicted as eating someone up through her vagina. Okay, but there are other deities that they show with 50 and 60 boobs. So either a woman has to be. We've had this conversation before. We have to show. Either she's a Madonna or she's a whore.
Right.
She's not allowed to be a mix of both. And let's be honest, that's what all women are. And if we want to talk about whores. How many, like you said, married men are out there doing, got an A woman, B woman, C woman, but the minute they think their wife might be out there even thinking about another man, all of a sudden it's about, you can't disrespect me and I'm a man and blah, blah, blah.
And you ready to kill somebody.
Dude, you got 7 kids by 7 different women. Yeah. And none of them are fine.
Right, and it's just I don't understand the double standards, and we do know that I'm tired of hearing the excuse. Oh, that's how it's always been like that. It's always been a double standard. At some point, you have to say enough is enough.
Absolutely.
No more double standard. I remember a guy told me, and you know, everything that we do is labeled feminist. It's not about feminism. Let's just stop that. You know, we just.
That's
anything we do, it's like they get so nervous. But I remember this guy told me, he said, it is in your best interest to get yours because I'm going to get mine.
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely.
And it's funny because I'm thinking to myself, well, and this, that's how we going. So, there are people who are in sex for themselves, but then you have the people who are into pleasing
their
the
partners,
other person.
right? Those are givers.
It just depends on the situation. But I'm excited when I have conferences or when I talk to women about just making sex more enjoyable for them, because sometimes women don't want to have sex with their partners because it's just not enjoyable. Whether it hurts or they just haven't found a comfortable position,
or they don't reach the climax.
Right.
And after a while, if your man or your woman is always getting theirs and you're not, you start to think, am I capable of it? Is there something wrong with me? Because women, we do tend to internalize things instead of looking at them for practically. And I look at it this way. If I am with someone and I'm not getting where I need to be, then let me do a little self-exploration. Let me find out for myself what makes me happy. If I find that on my own, or I have someone who can help guide me to find that, and I get back with my partner, I'm going to let my partner know, hey, look, honey, I'm not vaginal, I'm clitoral.
Means that you could. And with that, that is the end of tonight's episode of The Best Moments on the K. Lowry Moore Show. So I hope you guys have enjoyed those clips. If you did, make sure you go over to WLVS Radio on YouTube to make sure that you watch the full episodes and the other episodes as well. And don't forget, Conversations and Confessions is out there as well on the K. Lowry Moore YouTube channel. So with that said, you guys, make sure you stay tuned with the next show, Talking with TB, and I will see you guys next week. Next week, make sure you bring your wine and your, we gonna have a good time next week. So make sure you prepare. Don't wait until 7:59 next week and say, oh, I forgot. No, you want to make sure you're here next week to make sure you're tuned in with the discussion with me and Yonda. We're gonna have a good time next week. So I'll see you guys next week. Good night.
It's like you're looking through a telescope. You see where you're gonna be. Growing, getting better. You're not the person they see. Can't be mad at the things you've been through, 'cause they built your